They tell you to get motivated. They say, watch this video, read this book, listen to this podcast, it'll fire you up. And maybe, for a few hours, you feel it. That spark, that rush, that adrenaline. You get excited, you make plans, you promise yourself, tomorrow I'm going to change everything. But then, tomorrow comes, and that fire you felt, gone. That passion, faded. That motivation, nowhere to be found. You're back where you started, stuck, confused, tired, and you ask yourself the same question again: why can't I stay motivated? But here's the harsh truth, the truth most people won't tell you: motivation is an illusion. We live in a world obsessed with the idea of motivation. We worship hustle quotes, we repost flashy reels with music drops, we scroll through feeds filled with highlight reels, six-packs, luxury cars, perfect morning routines, and deep inside, we feel this urge: I need to feel motivated like that, then I'll be unstoppable. But that's the trap, Bawaji. That's the illusion. You've been taught to chase motivation like it's fuel. But in reality, motivation is more like a spark. It lights the match, but it doesn't keep the fire going. Let's talk about what really happens behind the scenes of this so-called motivational lifestyle. You wake up one day and say, today, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to build a business, I'm going to write that book. But you only go if you feel like going. You only work if you feel inspired. You only move if the vibe is right, the stars are aligned, and your playlist is fire. That's not commitment, that's convenience. That's not discipline, that's dependency. You've trained your mind to obey your feelings. But feelings are liars. They change with the weather. They fluctuate with sleep, food, mood, and scrolling through someone else's success. If you wait for motivation to hit, you'll be waiting forever. Because motivation doesn't show up when you need it, it shows up after you've already taken action. Let me ask you this, straight from the heart: what if motivation wasn't the goal? What if you didn't need to feel ready? What if the real power was in doing it anyway? Imagine two versions of you. Version A waits until they feel good, energized, inspired. Version B shows up tired, bored, frustrated, but shows up anyway. Now fast forward 90 days. Which version of you is stronger? Which version has results? Which version built momentum? You already know the answer. The person who shows up despite the feeling, that's the one who wins. That's the one who breaks through. That's the one who becomes unstoppable. Here's the mind-blowing shift you need to make. Motivation doesn't lead to action. Action leads to motivation. Let that sink in. We've been taught backward. We think, get inspired gives, feel good gives, take action. But in truth, take action gives, get results gives, feel good gives, stay motivated. You don't wait to get motivated to go to the gym. You go to the gym, and after 20 minutes of sweat, your brain says, I feel amazing, let's go harder. You don't wait to feel creative before writing. You start writing, and 15 minutes in, the ideas start to flow. Motion activates motivation, not the other way around. You know what people never show on social media? The early mornings when they dragged themselves out of bed with zero energy. The nights when they cried alone because nothing seemed to work. The rejection emails, the injuries, the self-doubt, the missed birthdays, the sacrifices. That's the real work. That's the part that builds greatness. And it doesn't come from motivation. It comes from something deeper. From grit, from hunger, from a decision, the decision to show up regardless of how you feel. The truth is, you don't need motivation. You need a reason. A why so powerful it pulls you forward when everything else pushes you down. A purpose that's bigger than your comfort zone. A vision that makes quitting impossible. Because when your reason is real, you don't wait for motivation. You move with conviction. The gym becomes a temple. The late nights become sacred. The grind becomes a privilege. You stop saying, I have to. You start saying, I get to, because now you know the fire isn't outside you, it's inside you. And the secret to unlocking it is showing up when no one else will. Let me leave you with this. Most people live their lives like a matchstick. They burn brightly for a few seconds, and then they die out. But legends, they become wildfires. They don't wait to be lit. They ignite themselves, every day. No excuses, no feelings, just action. So the next time you hear your mind say, I don't feel motivated, look it dead in the eye and respond, good, I don't need motivation, I need movement, and then go move. That's how you win. That's how you unlock the fire. That's how you escape the illusion. The greatest enemy of greatness isn't failure, it's comfort. Comfort is seductive. Bawaji. It whispers lies into your ears. It tells you, you're fine where you are, you've done enough, rest a little more, relax, you've earned it. And little by little you listen, you start hitting snooze, you skip that workout, you delay that project, you pull back instead of pushing forward. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because comfort crept in and convinced you that mediocrity is acceptable, and that's how dreams die, not with a bang, but with a yawn, with a slow, silent surrender to ease. Comfort is a thief dressed in silk. It robs you with a smile. It gives you short-term pleasure while stealing your long-term purpose. Most people don't even realize when they've fallen into the comfort trap. They mistake comfort for peace. They think being stable means they're successful. But stability without growth is stagnation. A still body decays, a still mind dulls, a still dream fades. You weren't built for stillness, Bawaji. You were built for storms. You were born to struggle, to sweat, to rise, to evolve. Look around at nature. The seed must break to sprout. The eagle must fight to fly. The diamond must be crushed to shine. Growth is violent. Evolution is uncomfortable. And yet, that's where life begins. That's where purpose is born. But most people avoid discomfort like it's poison. They choose the couch over the climb, the excuse over the effort, the now over the necessary. And then they wonder why their life feels empty, why their fire has dimmed, why every day feels the same. It's because comfort has turned their life into a slow death. Understand this. Anything meaningful, building a business, transforming your body, mastering a craft will demand that you suffer. It will require sacrifice. It will break you down and rebuild you from the inside out. But comfort never asks anything of you. And that's why it gives you nothing in return. The gym won't always be fun. Waking up early will hurt. Staying focused will be a battle. But every drop of discomfort is a deposit in your future. Every moment you choose the hard path over the easy one, you take back power from comfort. You reclaim your identity. Because comfort doesn't just make you soft, it makes you forget who you are. You were a warrior once, a dreamer, a fighter. But the more you sat down, the more you scrolled, the more you said maybe tomorrow, the more that version of you faded. The version of you that was hungry, that was fearless. That version is still inside you, waiting, watching, asking, when are you going to wake up? Discomfort is the alarm. It's the invitation. It's the price you pay to become who you're meant to be. And the craziest part, the more you choose discomfort, the more powerful you become. It's like a muscle. Resistance builds resilience. Discipline builds dominance. The same cold shower that once felt unbearable becomes your new normal. The same 5 a.m. alarm that once felt cruel becomes your edge. The same hard choices that once terrified you become part of your identity. Comfort is addictive, but discomfort is transformative. You will never grow inside your safe zone. No legend was ever born in their living room. No masterpiece was ever created without pressure. No champion ever became great by doing what was easy. If you want the life no one has, you have to do what no one's willing to do. You have to choose pain over pleasure, grind over glory, consistency over chaos. You must walk into the fire, not because it's fun, but because that's where your soul is forged. Every time you avoid the hard thing, you reinforce weakness. But every time you lean into it, even for 5 minutes, you become stronger. You send a signal to your mind. I don't bow to comfort. I command my life. And little by little, those small victories stack. They turn into habits, habits into character, and character into destiny. Comfort will always be there, offering its false peace. But you're not here to be comfortable. You're here to become. So don't fear discomfort. Chase it. Seek it, live in it. Because on the other side of discomfort is everything you've ever wanted. And the only thing standing between who you are and who you want to be is the war you're willing to fight with comfort. Don't let it win. Bawa. Burn the chair, break the habit, pick up, push forward, and become the storm that comfort fears. Desire is loud. It screams in your head. It tells you what you want, the body you crave, the money you need, the recognition you dream about. But desire without discipline is just a wish. It's a spark with no firewood. It's noise with no result. And this is where most people fall, Bawaji. They want everything, but they don't want to do anything uncomfortable to get it. They crave change, but they avoid challenge. They fantasize about success, but they flirt with excuses. And that's where discipline steps in, because desire might start the engine, but discipline keeps the machine running when the fuel runs out. It's the voice that says, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. It's the choice to keep showing up when the motivation is gone, when the mood has vanished, and when no one is watching. Discipline is the quiet champion. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need hype. It doesn't wait for permission. It just executes relentlessly, ruthlessly, repeatedly, every day, no matter what. You think greatness comes from doing big things once. No, greatness comes from doing small things over and over again, especially when you don't feel like it. That's the difference between the dreamers and the doers. The dreamers talk, the doers build. Discipline is what separates amateurs from professionals, dabblers from dominators, and victims from victors, because discipline means you control your impulses, they don't control you. The world says, follow your heart. Discipline says, lead with your head. The world says, do it when you feel inspired. Discipline says, do it because it must be done. You don't rise in life by doing what's easy. You rise by doing what's necessary. You rise by doing it tired, doing it broke, doing it stressed, doing it scared, doing it while doubting yourself, but still doing it. That's discipline. It's brushing your teeth every day, even when you're exhausted. It's working on your dream after 10 hours at a job you hate. It's saying no to junk food, toxic people, and lazy habits, not because it feels good, but because it's who you've chosen to become. And here's the painful truth. Every time you break your word to yourself, you lose trust in you. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, and don't, your confidence erodes. Your self-respect shrinks. But every time you follow through, no matter how small you grow, you build. You strengthen the bond with the most important person in your life. And that's where true power lives. Not in what others think of you, but in what you believe about yourself when no one's around. That's what discipline gives you, integrity with yourself. Desire will lie to you. It will tempt you. It will beg for shortcuts. It will scream for dopamine, for comfort, for escape. But discipline will keep you grounded. It will remind you of who you said you were. It will remind you that you are not your cravings, your doubts, or your fatigue. You are what you repeatedly do, and every rep, every task, every routine, every uncomfortable choice becomes your identity. You don't become a writer by writing once. You don't become strong by training when you feel like it. You don't become successful by working on your dream every few weekends. You become who you want to be by being disciplined every damn day. And that's not easy. It's not supposed to be. But that's the point. Because the hard road is the road that leads to greatness. Anyone can start. Most people quit. Discipline is what keeps you alive in the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And that gap, that space, that's where champions are made. So stop waiting for desire to carry you. It won't. Desire is a child, impulsive, emotional. Fragile. Discipline is the parent, steady, firm, unwavering. Let discipline lead your life. Let it build your mornings. Let it rule your habits. Let it shape your schedule. And eventually, it will shape your destiny. You don't need another motivational video, Bawaji. You need a mirror. You need to look into your own eyes and ask, am I living by how I feel? Or am I living by what I said I'd do? Because if your feelings are the captain of your ship, you'll drift forever. But if your principles, your standards, your discipline guide your course, you'll reach every shore you set sail for. Not because it was easy, but because you were unshakable. Because you didn't let temporary emotion destroy permanent progress. Because you mastered the art of self-control. Because you stopped relying on hype and started relying on habit. So today, don't ask if you feel ready. Ask if you're committed. Don't look for a spark. Light the fire. Show up. Execute. Repeat. And remember, discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect, it's love in action, it's freedom through structure. And one day, not far from now, when everyone else is complaining, quitting, or coasting, you'll be standing tall, smiling, unbreakable, not because it was easy, but because you chose discipline over desire every single time. There is a force more powerful than motivation, louder than discipline, and more unstoppable than raw talent, and that force is momentum. Momentum is the silent power behind every legendary rise, every massive transformation, every impossible comeback. It's the compound interest of your effort. It's the snowball that starts small but turns into an avalanche with every single step forward. Most people wait for the right moment to begin. But what they don't realize is that the right moment is created, not found. And how is it created? By movement, by momentum, by taking that one action, no matter how small, and refusing to stop. Momentum is built in the silence, in the trenches, in the repetition that no one claps for. It's built when you write one ugly page of your book, go to the gym for just 10 minutes, make one uncomfortable phone call, resist one temptation, and then do it again tomorrow. That's how champions are born, not through bursts of energy, but through streaks of movement, through consistency, through momentum. And here's the truth. Momentum doesn't care if your first step is messy. It only cares that you move. Even the tiniest step forward creates ripples. Even the smallest progress kills resistance. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about not standing still. Because standing still is where dreams die. It's where overthinking wins, where fear grows roots, where self-doubt multiplies. Momentum is the cure. It's the medicine. It's the only thing that can silence the excuses in your head. Once you get in motion, your body forgets how tired it was. Your mind forgets how scared it was. The fog lifts, the fear shrinks, and all that's left is power. You don't need to be amazing right away. You just need to start. Every master was once a beginner. Every empire began with a single brick. Every six-pack began with a single crunch. But here's where most people fail. They stop. They start strong. They go hard for a week. But then life throws a punch. They miss a day. Then two. Then the voice in their head whispers, "See, I knew you'd quit." But the truth is, missing one day doesn't break you. Quitting momentum does. And that's the real danger, not falling down, but choosing not to get back up. Momentum doesn't require perfection. It requires return. Just get back. One missed workout. Who cares? Show up tomorrow. One bad meal. Big deal. Eat clean at the next. One wasted day. Let it go, win the next one. The rule is simple. Never miss twice. That's how you protect momentum. That's how you stack wins. That's how you become dangerous, because now, movement is your identity. It's who you are. You're no longer someone who tries. You're someone who does. And once you've built that identity, your mind stops fighting you. The resistance weakens. The habits strengthen. Your life becomes lighter, faster, sharper. That's the gift of momentum. It gives back more than it takes. You invest small efforts, and in return you gain clarity, confidence, energy, belief. You start feeling unstoppable, not because everything's easy, but because nothing can stop you from showing up. Even pain becomes fuel. Even failure becomes feedback. And soon, others look at you and say, how do they stay so consistent? But they don't see the first 10 days when you forced yourself to move with no results. They don't see the early mornings, the breakdowns, the boredom, the lonely grind. All they see is the flow, the momentum, but they don't realize you earned it. You bled for it. You chose it. Momentum is a gift, but only to those who start and keep going. That's why the hardest part is always the beginning. It's when your old identity tries to pull you back, when your habits fight for survival, when your doubts scream louder than your discipline. But once you break through that early resistance, once you string together enough wins, you enter the zone. And in the zone, everything changes. The work becomes easier. The steps become lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. You move through fear instead of freezing in it. You face challenges head-on instead of shrinking back, because you're no longer dragging yourself through life, you're gliding. And that's when you realize, momentum is the ultimate cheat code. It's the master key. It opens every door, physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual. You begin to attract better energy, make sharper decisions, speak with conviction. People start noticing your glow, your presence, your power. But it all came from one decision: to start. Not to be perfect, not to be extraordinary, just to move, just to begin. That's the difference between the few who change their lives and the millions who stay stuck. The few are willing to look foolish at first. They're willing to be beginners, to be slow, to be awkward, because they understand that motion beats hesitation, always. So the next time you feel stuck, don't wait for the vibe, don't wait for motivation, don't even wait for clarity. Just pick the smallest possible step and take it. Write one sentence. Walk for 5 minutes. Open the laptop. Say the hard thing. Make the scary call. Whatever it is, move, because the secret you've been searching for, the breakthrough you've been praying for, the fire you've been waiting to feel, it's already inside you. And the only way to unlock it is momentum. Start now. Start small. But for God's sake, start. That's how you win, Bawaji. That's how you turn discipline into destiny. That's how you make movement your lifestyle and momentum your superpower. There comes a moment in every life, a silent, invisible moment when the noise fades, the doubts scream one last time, and a voice deep inside asks you, who are you really? Not who they told you to be, not who the world sees, but the real you. The version buried beneath fear, excuses, and hesitation. The warrior you were before the world told you to shrink. That fire, it never died. It's still there, burning, waiting. You've just buried it under years of playing small. You've silenced it with comfort, drowned it with distractions, numbed it with mediocrity. But here's the truth, Bawaji, that fire inside you, it's the most powerful force you'll ever possess. And now, it's time to unleash it. No one's going to do it for you. No one's coming to save you. No mentor, no video, no shortcut. Just you, raw, real, and ready. But first, you've Got to kill the lies. The lies that say, I'm not good enough. The lies that whisper, what if I fail? The lies that tell you, it's too late. Destroy them, rip them out, burn them to ash. Because every second you believe them, you dim your own light. You were not born to blend in. You were born to burn bright, to lead, to rise, to fight for something greater than your fears. But that fire can't be unlocked with comfort. It's forged in the furnace of discipline. It's revealed through relentless action. It's unleashed when you stop giving a damn about opinions and start giving everything to your purpose. Your inner fire isn't some poetic idea. It's your raw potential, waiting to be weaponized. Every second you waste is a betrayal to it. Every excuse you make is a cage around it. You want to wake up with purpose. You want to walk into a room and feel unstoppable. Then stop playing soft. Stop apologizing for your ambition. Stop dimming your brilliance to make others comfortable. Greatness isn't handed out. It's hunted down. It's earned in the dark, in the silence, in the pain, in the thousand quiet moments where you choose the hard thing, not because you have to, but because you refuse to be average. People will doubt you, let them. They'll laugh, criticize, talk behind your back. Let them. Every hater is a sign you're rising. Every setback is a spark. Every no is a step closer to your yes. And while they talk, you train. While they sleep, you build. While they wait, you move. Because you've got something they don't. Fire, real fire. And it doesn't come from comfort, talent, or luck. It comes from choosing to keep going, long after most people would have quit. It comes from embracing the pain, from looking at your scars and saying, good, now I'm stronger. It comes from the nights you cry, the mornings you rise, the moments you want to give up, but don't. That's when the fire grows. That's when the fire grows. When you stop being ordinary and start becoming legendary. The inner fire can't be taught, it must be earned. Through sacrifice, through silence, through relentless consistency when no one is watching. You don't need the perfect plan, you need the perfect intent. To never go back to who you were, to never settle, to never again betray your potential just to fit in. You're not meant to live a life of maybe, you're meant to live a life of meaning. And that means risk, that means failure, that means becoming uncomfortable until you're unbreakable. But on the other side of that struggle is something no one can give you and no one can take away. Self-respect, power, purpose, pride. That's the reward of the fire. That's what it gives you when you stop seeking approval and start seeking growth. This is your time, Bawaji, right now. Not next year, not next month. No more waiting, no more hesitating, no more sitting on the edge of your greatness. Jump, run, fight, build, lead, burn. Because the world doesn't need more people trying to fit in, it needs people on fire. People who've unleashed their inner strength and are fearless enough to show it. Be that person. Be the one who doesn't fold under pressure, who rises in chaos, who moves even when afraid. That's the fire talking. That's the real you. And it's time to let that version of you take the wheel. You've been sleeping too long, playing too small. But now you've seen the truth. You've heard the call. You feel the flame rising in your chest. Don't ignore it. Feed it. Fan it. Let it consume everything that's holding you back. Burn the bridges to your excuses. Burn the blueprint of your past. Burn the old version of you that played it safe and walk forward in the flames, knowing you're not just surviving anymore. You're becoming something terrifying to your old fears. Becoming unstoppable, unshakable, unapologetic. The fire has been waiting. And now that it's awake, there's no turning back. This is your era. This is your awakening. This is how you unlock your inner motivation by unleashing your inner fire.